Welcome to the Bonita Business Podcast, where we bring you behind-the-scenes insights and unexpected ideas, ones that are creating business and career success right here in my chosen hometown of Bonita Springs, Florida. I'm your host, Bonita Business Coach Darcy Eikenberg. I'm the author of Bring Your Superpowers to Work and the founder of the leadership development firm RedCapeRevolution.com. I'm so glad you're here with me today. You probably already know that real estate is big business in Bonita Springs. But did you know that there's an entire professional association that's involved in setting high standards and monitoring ethical practices of realtors? And did you know that you and I can use them as a resource if we have a problem with a realtor or if we just have questions about the real estate market in our area? Well, now you know. Meighan Harris is the CEO of that professional organization, the Bonita Springs Estero Realtors. They're at the center of keeping the real estate business professional here today, which, no matter if you're buying or selling property, that's critical. I know you'll enjoy this interview. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Woods, Weidenmiller, Machete, and Rednick, attorneys at law. And a little later in the show, I chat with partner Jay Cottle, who just opened the firm's office here in Bonita Springs. We'll link to more information about the firm and their people on our show notes page, which you can find at bonitabusinesspodcast.com. Now, let's dive into my interview with Meighan Harris, CEO of Bonita Springs Estero Realtors. Thank you so much for being on the Bonita Business Podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Darcy.
So, well, you and I have known each other for a little while now, and I've had the opportunity to work a bit with your organization. But tell me, what exactly do you all do here?
Okay, well, we get that question a lot, because we are Bonita Springs Estero Realtors. Previously used to be called BEAR, lovingly, Bonita Springs Estero Association of Realtors. So we'd get a lot of consumers that would call us thinking that we were selling real estate, but that's not actually what we do as an organization. So we are comprised of realtor members. So we have about 1,000 members at our organization, and about 200 affiliate members. So affiliate members are local businesses that are related to the industry, like our title companies, our mortgage companies, down to carpet cleaners. So people like that. So what does our organization do? We really promote professionalism in our realtor members. We hold them to the code of ethics. So we are a voice for consumers in the area if they are having a problem with a realtor member, that they can give us a call and we can go through the channels to take care of their concern.
And so how many members did you say you have?
So we fluctuate like any organization. But 1,000 members is about our average.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you say realtor, because I know the industry has changed and shifted like a lot of industries over the past several years. So the realtor, tell me about, like, someone has to go through certain tests and has to qualify to be called a realtor? Is that how it works?
So first off, if there's any realtors listening, they're going to correct you and it's going to get under their skin. So it's realtor. So that's the proper pronunciation.
Realtor.
That's the first thing that I was ever taught when I came into this industry.
Okay.
So it's they really take pride in that trademark and that name. So in the state of Florida, I can tell you there's about 400,000 licensed real estate agents, and that's from brokers, appraisers, the whole gamut. And they might be active or inactive. There's about 280,000, I believe, realtors. So in order to be a realtor, you have to be a member of the National Association of Realtors, your state association, and a local organization like us. Okay? So what sets them apart is that they have to abide by the code of ethics. So it's 17 articles, duty to clients, duty to agents, that really sets them on a different professional level than a basic sales agent.
So it becomes a screening for a consumer, basically, that knowing that this person, at least they're going to subscribe to a certain code of ethics that's been documented. And what happens if somebody breaks the ethical code?
So we have a self-reporting. So with the code of ethics, a consumer can report them to our board, or another realtor can report a realtor of our board to a professional standards panel. It's kind of like a trial to where, if believed to be true that this did happen, they will sit in front of a hearing panel, and there can be punishment anywhere from just a reprimand letter to $15,000 in fines.
Oh. So I'm curious, so what counts as an ethical issue versus just somebody who's a bad business person?
So wow, we can really get into that. And that's a conversation I have a lot with consumers. So, where I have to say to them, that might be a professionalism issue, but that's not ethical. Mm-hmm. So, does the consumer feel that they were abandoned by the client? That might give them an opportunity to, get out of a contract. Wow, I've heard some doozies.
Uh-huh. Tell us a juicy one.
I know there's
names protected.
And this was not in our board. Okay. I've heard of a member showing property in the nude.
Okay.
So yeah. So I mean,
that is an ethical issue.
Absolutely.
There is no nudity. You heard it here, folks. There's no nudity allowed when you're working with a realtor and showing property.
Absolutely not.
Well, that's good. That's a relief, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about, you mentioned the consumer or the home buyer. We have people come in and out of Bonita Springs all the time who are looking for, maybe it's a second home, but maybe they're moving here and it's a first home, or what should they know about your organization that helps them, instead of just using the realtor, I got the words right, that they're engaged with?
So one of the things that we do for consumers is monthly on our website, we post market statistics. So they can see how our area is thriving. Florida Realtors puts out great market statistics, so they can really compare our area to other areas of the state, see our average or median home price. Also, we have a wonderful media committee here that meets, that really sets Bonita Springs and Estero apart from other parts of Lee County. So it's a collaborative group of brokers that review our market statistics and kind of get a story. So, like this month, it's red tide isn't affecting home sales in Bonita Springs. So we can see that from our statistics that we're still having a shortage of inventory, and sales keep happening. So
shortage of inventory translated to not enough homes for people who are interested in buying them. Is that my understanding correctly?
That things are flying off the market.
Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We'll be back to my interview in just a minute, but right now, I'm here with Jay Caudill. He's a partner in the law firm of Woods, Weidenmiller, Machete, and Rednick. They're our sponsor for this episode of the Bonita Business Podcast. So Jay, tell me this. People often think that you only need a lawyer for really tough situations, like a lawsuit. What are the everyday situations where a legal professional can help?
So I always say that there are two types of lawyers, those that take things apart and those that put things together. Both types are necessary, and they have similar training, but they serve very different functions. So if you're a person that's looking at making an investment in a business here locally, or if you're going to be buying some real estate, it pays to have a lawyer helping you at the beginning of the process, as well as throughout the process, so that you can avoid conflict. In addition to that, if you do run into conflict during that process, it's always great to get information from a seasoned professional who can steer you or navigate you through possible lawsuits or through possible consequences of choices that you would want to make during that process. If you are a business owner, also having an attorney on retainer to assist you with employment matters or vendor contracts is invaluable. Also, just the general person walking off the street, having an estate plan, 98% of the people that are hearing this podcast would need to have an estate plan, because those actually can save you money at the end of the day, either on taxes, if you're going to be taxed by estate taxes, or if you're going to incur some legal expenses in the probate process. So simply put, in my opinion, 98% of our audience is going to, at some point, need to interact with a lawyer several times in their lifetime.
Thank you, Jay. Really appreciate that. Sometimes I think we don't realize when we need to turn to the professionals. So, and thanks to those professionals, our friends at Woods, Weidenmiller, Machete, and Rudnick. And you can find Jay and the Bonita Springs office in the North Bay Village, and that's where Bonefish is. It's right next to Bonita Brunch. And now, let's return to my interview. Now, then tell me about your role. So you're the executive director of this association. So what does that mean? What do you do day in and day out?
Oh, I never know. So I wear a lot of hats. So I oversee the finances. We also own 2 properties, this one that we're in today and one up the street. So we have 7 tenants. So I have 5 staff. So and like I was talking to you about the ethics, I am the professional standards administrator. So anytime that we have a complaint, it comes through me, as well as just the basic functions of running an organization, keeping the lights on. So absolutely.
So a lot of different things. And again, with 1,000 different members and I think you said 200 affiliates, so different people who are stakeholders in the organization. That's a lot of moving parts.
Yes, and we have 12 committees. So we have staff liaisons to each committee. Our organization does a lot to give back to the community through fundraising efforts. So if we're not having an event, we're raising money or doing something to serve our members. So we are always busy here.
So you stepped into the CEO role in the last year or so after someone had been here for quite a long time, right?
Yes, I came into the association actually after 15 years in the dental field. A strange switch, right? So I actually came in as the education director was the title at the time. We actually changed to professional development. And then went from there to COO to CEO. I had a wonderful mentor. She had been in the business for about 15 years. And, I was her succession plan, and she taught me everything I needed to know. I couldn't have asked for a better mentor, for sure.
So stepping into a role where you've been watching, you're the obvious successor, you've been trained and, ready to be successor, but then stepping into the big seat. So what surprised you? What were you expecting when you came into the CEO role?
I was actually kind of surprised how much of it that she had been hand feeding me through our transition period that I was already doing. And I think that was just a great transition for both of us. So what surprised me the most? I think, I never know what my day is going to be like. So, one day it might be a facilities issue, another day it might be a member, or staff. So I think it's just the variety of things that my day will bring.
It's interesting when you think about making those transitions, those leadership transitions. And as a business coach, I work with different companies who they have senior leaders who, have an eye toward whether it's retirement or whether it's the next spot. And what I heard you say was, that leader did a good job of really feeding you more and putting more on your plate so that when you made the transition, it wasn't such an abrupt change that it already kind of felt like you sat in the chair. And I mean, that takes skill and focus and time too. It was probably time and planning for her to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. She gave me all the tools for success through certifications, designation, training. I was her right hand, and everywhere she went for traveling and courses, I went right alongside her. So I couldn't thank her more for that. And it really did set me up for success. And, one of the reasons why the board chose me to stay on is because I love this organization. My heart and everything I'm passionate about is here. And it makes it a lot easier when you transition, CEOs to have someone that knows the heart of, the business, and that really believes in it rather than bringing someone brand new from the outside in. So
it's really nice not to have that disruption. So many times we think, oh, well, maybe there's somebody else on the outside, because sometimes the people that are inside, we're a little too used to them, or we know their flaws and we don't always see their strengths. But, having that smooth transition, because I think from the, outside, again, not knowing the depth of this organization, I think a lot of people don't exactly, know how everything that goes on here. But, it seems like it was a pretty smooth turnover and pretty natural.
Absolutely.
So,
We did a great job of informing our members, and kind of went through the progression of being promoted to COO and CEO. Mm-hmm. So there was the, the understanding of our members that a change was happening. So, and I think they appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know one of the other things that you're really passionate about is the young professionals, and you've been involved in the community with various young professionals groups. So tell me a little about that, of what you've been seeing with our young professionals in Bonita, and what you've been doing.
Absolutely. So we do have a young professionals network here in our organization, which of course is 40 and under. Of course, we let some people in that are not that way, that we say they're young at heart. So our young professionals organization, we really work on advocacy efforts, which is a part of one of the things we take care of here at this organization, but also community outreach, growing our business and networking. So they do a wonderful job constantly getting out into the community, doing things like habitat builds, school fundraising drives, you name it, we're part of it. So I've done the Chamber YPN as well. And it's just a great opportunity to get together with other people that are driven, young in their careers, like-minded, and, want to feed off of each other and get good ideas and what's working for you, what's not working for you, and be together going through this growing process.
These young, I do young in the air quotes, we can't
Sure.
see on the podcast, but, these young professionals groups are really interesting, because I think there is a perception, you mentioned Bonita being a seasonal town, and we mentioned second homes and retirement homes, but there is a really growing, healthy population of people who are working full-time, building their family here, building their career here. Mm-hmm. And I think you get to see a lot of that in the work you're doing with young professionals.
I do. And actually, Darcy, I moved here in 2010 and moved away in 2012 because we really felt like this area didn't meet the needs of my young growing family. And we came back about 2 years later. And really in that 2-year span, I can see a big difference. There's a lot more opportunities for young families. The community is offering a lot more activities. So it's kind of funny to see how the dynamics have changed, but there is definitely a growth of younger families coming to this area. Mm-hmm. And I'm really grateful for that, having 2 young children myself. Mm-hmm. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a great thing to see, and it's important that we all support all professionals at all levels. So I'm curious, with seeing those changes over the years, and then being in the middle of the community now and doing, all the different things that you're doing, if you had a magic wand and you could change one thing in Bonita right now, what would you change?
Wow. I would love to see our median age be younger. I still think we have a lot of, work to do on that process. Downtown Bonita is growing and expanding, and they've got great vision for that area. I wish it would have happened a little earlier, but I can't wait to see what it's going to turn into. I'd love to see more walkability, more kind of events on the weekends for young families to do. It's a great area. It's thriving. We have the beach, but sometimes I wish there was a little bit more.
What do you see for your industry, for the future of the, professional realtor, in the Bonita Springs, and, you also cover Estero area? Mm-hmm.
I think as long as we have sunshine, we're always going to have people move into Florida. The population of Florida is growing by leaps and bounds daily. We just have a great beach and sunshine to market, and people are just going to keep flocking this way. So I see nothing but growth in our area. New construction's, booming right now. So we're growing.
That's great. And we'll continue to grow, and we'll, look to the Bonita Estero Realtors to help us grow and make smart home buying moves and advocate for us in the real estate world. So
Absolutely.
Again, Meighan Harris, thank you for being here today on the Bonita Business Podcast.
Thanks, Darcy.
I don't know about you, but when I think about how much real estate is bought and sold in Southwest Florida, it's good to know there's a group like the Bonita Springs Estero Realtors we can turn to right here. Plus, don't you love how Meighan schools me on the proper pronunciation of realtor? It's not realtor. I don't think I got it right all the time in this interview, but hey guys, I'm trying. Thanks again to Meighan Harris at the Bonita Springs Estero Realtors for spending time with me. And thanks also to our sponsor for this episode, the attorneys at Woods, Weidenmiller, Machete, and Rudnick with their new office in Bonita Springs. You can find pictures and other links from this episode when you visit bonitabusinesspodcast.com. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for our podcast updates in email, and you'll be among the first to know about every episode this season. I'm Bonita business coach Darcy Eikenberg, and thanks so much for being here. If you like this episode, be sure to tell a friend or leave a review for us on iTunes. And remember, Bonita may mean beautiful, but it also means business. Bye for now.